Hello Vikings, MaxPower22 here with my very first Valheim PVP tutorial. If you like my content, then please like and subscribe. Also, I recently discovered how to add these nifty separator thingamabobs, so feel free to use them to skip around this video. In this video, I'm going to go over some basic building tips and tricks you should know when joining a PvP server. By the way, if you are looking for a PvP server, then check out the description below. We have a lightly modded server that is optimized for PvP. In this video, I'll be going over 3 different categories. 1. Wards, 2. The outer wall, and 3. Portals. Let's get started. So when placing wards, you have 3 options. 1. You can bury them, just don't forget to activate them first. 2. You can let them float. To do this, you just destroy the platform underneath the board. And 3. You can just place them on the ground. The benefit of burying wards is that they can only be destroyed by a stag breaker or sledgehammer. Also, they are much harder to find. Floating wards can only be hit by arrows, and there is no real benefit to placing them on the ground as they can be hit by any melee weapon, making them very easy to break. For example, here is someone's outpost which is guarded by one lonely ward. Within about 10 minutes or less, I had broken in and destroyed the ward, rebuilt it, and claimed this outpost as my own. And then buried my own ward. They were not very happy. Now I'm going to go over building the outer wall to your base. There are plenty of designs that work, but I'm going to go over what I believe to be the most effective type of outer wall. I prefer to use raised dirt because under the protection of a ward, raised dirt or ground is invincible. Now, for the most effective wall, you want to raise the dirt as high as it can go. After finishing your walls, you want to dig a ditch around it. Start by digging down as deep as it will allow you, then carefully dig around the wall. When digging the ditch, you'll want to make sure it lines up with your wall. The reason why you want to build your wall this way is to make it high enough to where it is impossible to jump over. Next, you want to build the lip and the ramparts. I find the lowest part of the wall, flatten it some, and place my first piece. I try and place the wall as close to the edge as possible and snap every piece together. Next, I start building the lip. This is important for every wall design because it ensures that no one can easily jump over your walls. Normally I also add wood floor pieces to the inner edge because I like to have plenty of room to move around with when defending my base. The final touch to my base would be adding wood half walls to the outer edge. This protects me from being harpooned and dragged off the wall while defending. Here's the final product. Keep in mind I built this in creative mode for the purpose of this tutorial. Here are some examples I've actually built on our old server. Here is one of my outposts. You may remember this from a previous video. Trix sure does. Also, I've updated it with a sneaky pitfall trap. Here's another outpost. This one happens to have a moat. I don't like building moats because it's tricky to make them deep enough to where attackers would have to swim in case they fall in. But the payoff could be worth it, making them easy targets to shoot. Last, but definitely not least, my main base. So, due to the difficulty of raiding a base with 4 raised dirt walls, our server had to make a rule that required at least one wall be destructible. As you can see, I widened the ramparts on this base and added little archer towers on the corners. And the destructible wall is layered to slow down attackers as much as possible. Now, the raised wall technique is not the only design that works. Here's an example of a beautiful outpost made by a player on our server. Now, when building a wall using construction pieces, you want to follow these 3 rules. 1. Snap all the pieces together. I'll show you why in a bit. 2. Make it tall. I'd say 4 units should be the minimum, but 6 or higher is ideal. You want to make it impossible for players to simply jump over. Consider building on flat ground or excavating around your walls to prevent this. 3. Add a lip. Oftentimes players can simply spam jump over walls, and this is the best way to prevent this. This also brings me back to my first rule of snapping all the pieces together. For example, the ground is oftentimes not level, and instead of snapping pieces together, you might be tempted to build unevenly. Excuse the terrible example, I recorded this in a rush, and holy crap, that's a huge fooling. When walls are built without snaps, it creates more points where people can just spam jump over. Now if I were to add a 4th rule, I'd say add a wooden half wall or equivalent to the edge of your walls. This prevents people from pulling you off of your wall, which is important because smart players will try to pull you off of your walls to isolate you, which can put you in a very compromising situation. Speaking of compromising situations, this leads me to the last part of my tutorial, portals. The biggest mistake I see new players make is they have bad portal placement. You can build the best base, best defenses ever, but none of this matters if you have bad portal habits. As you can see here, this player left all of their portals open with low walls that are easy to jump over. On a PvE server, this would be okay, but on a PvP server, the other players might take advantage of this. Like, really take advantage of this. For example, someone like me might take your portal codes and put them in a portal trap. Maybe I'll cover portal traps in a later video, but this guy did not like this at all. My 3 rules for good portal placement include 1. Don't leave your portals in the open. 2. Don't leave portals connected. And 3. Don't use predictable portal names like Portal 1, Portal 2, Portal 3. Because let's say if someone finds Portal 1, then they could easily try Portal 2 and Portal 3 to see if they connect anywhere. Basically, you want to treat portals like passwords. If you ever have suspicion that someone has learned your portal code, then change it. Just like how this guy probably had to change his trousers. One thing you can do to help keep your portal secure and organized would be to use this little trick. Whenever you change a portal code, there's a slight delay before the portal opens and or closes. Because of this delay, you can change a portal code right before you walk through it. When you do this, it will close the portal behind you. Let me replay that so you can see how it's done. This trick is literally game-changing. It eliminates the need for a portal hub and greatly cuts down on resource usage. Watch as I travel from base to base without needing to go back to a central portal hub. To do this, I simply write down or memorize one portal code for every portal I need. Before going through a portal, I just change it back to the name I have assigned to it. Once again, thanks again so much for watching. If you liked this content, then please like and subscribe. Also, please let me know in the comments what kind of tutorial you would like next. Best of luck, Vikings!